Statistics show that 7 out of 10 adults suffer from imposter syndrome. 7 out of 10. That's a huge number. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Really excited to have you here today. My name is Carina. I'm a wellness blogger and vlogger. I talk about everything wellness, helping millennials, helping professionals who also have side hustles and side businesses navigate life stress free. You can follow me on social media as well. I do have Instagram, it's Carina_, and I do have Facebook, Carina. Do search for it, and do not fail to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to turn on your bell notifications so you're well informed of all the very juicy topics. Today we're talking about the really important topic of imposter syndrome, how to deal with imposter syndrome. And I'm sure if not all of us, probably 98% of us have suffered from imposter syndrome. And the 2%, yeah, I'm gonna say 2%, the 2% that haven't suffered from imposter syndrome, how did you do it? Tell me. I really need to know. So it's that whole thing of, am I good enough? Can I do this? Can I do this job? Do they think I'm a fraud? Who am I to think I can do this? Who even gave me the audacity to think I could do this? And whatever those questions are, they're those questions that limit us. They're the questions that make us feel one less able to take the big steps that we should. And a lot of times we women suffer from that the most. Like, I'm not trying to say that men don't suffer from imposter syndrome, but men have a bravado about them, even in the workplace. And I see this a lot in the workplace. If a man is given a position, for example, he's given a position above maybe a director level position, and he's never been a director before, you see him on the next day when that promotion has been given to him. He walks in with this confidence that he can do it, even if he goes to tell his mates after work during drinks that, oh gosh, I don't know how I'm even doing it, I'm just winging it. But a lot of times they go with that confidence and that backbone, and maybe that's just how men are made, and that's how they're structured, and that's great. I think that's really admirable. But a lot of times we women suffer more from imposter syndrome because we feel that we can't do it even when we can. That's the thing. We feel like we can't. We feel like, I can't. Who am I to do this? Who told me I can do this? What even made me think I can do this? I say because it happens to me all the time. I remember when my first job, when after university I went to law school, I finished law school, I did a master's, and I did that. I'm not just trying to list out my professional qualification to you. I'm going somewhere with this. And after that, I did the New York bar, which is to qualify as a lawyer in New York. And after all of those things, I got my first job. The weekend before, I was panicking. I was calling my mom and saying, I don't think I can do this. And my mom had to reiterate to me. She said, why do you think you can't? You've got all the training. You started studying law from A-levels. You are doing commercial contracts, commercial law. How hard is that? You've done commercial contracts in A-levels. You did it at university. You did commercial contract negotiations. You did that in your law school. You also studied that in the New York bar. How hard is it for you? You've spent over 10 to 12 years studying this area of law, corporate law, commercial law, and you've done all these things, and you're telling me that you're going to walk in there still thinking that you're one less able to do it. And the truth is, a lot of times it's true. We do feel like that. We feel as people who are frauds. We feel that, maybe they gave the job to the wrong person. Maybe this pay rise was not supposed to be for me. And actually, talking on pay rise, and this is why a lot of us women, maybe we don't get what we're supposed to get because we feel, who am I to ask for a pay rise? I'm okay with this. But actually, a lot of times women do so much work in the workplace. Like, we really break our backs, and we do that in the workplace, we do it at home, we do it everywhere, and we just can't get ourselves to ask for that extra pay rise. And if we are, we're probably selling ourselves short and saying, maybe this extra 5,000 will be enough for the year. But if a man is going in there, he's probably asking for 20 grand of an increase, 30 grand of an increase. Why is it that we have these things? And we just want to explore this topic a bit more and share my personal life as well, the things I've struggled, like I said to you about my studies, the struggles I had. And I'll be very honest, even with YouTube, I had the struggle as well. I was supposed to start a YouTube channel in 2017. I had everyone gearing me for it. I had a friend who is a guy, and I'm gonna share this, and this is how men think. He did not speak very good English, and I'm not trying to be be disrespectful, but that's just the fact. His English was really bad and he had a very strong accent. He started his YouTube channel in 2017 and I was sitting there. At least I could speak much better English. My English is very good and I still could not find the confidence to go ahead and start my channel. I kept doubting myself. I said, well, what if I can't express myself enough? What if people can't really understand what I'm trying to say? What if the lighting is not very good? What if I'm not sure of this? Who am I to even try to share this with anybody when I don't know what it is? But the truth was, I knew so much that I could have shared. And yes, so what if I didn't know everything? No one knows everything anyway. So we all learn on the job, and there is that element of still learning on the job. So my point here is that we all suffer from imposter syndrome in one capacity or the other, either in our professional work environment where we've been trained to do this and we still doubt ourselves, or in a hobby. Just been talking today about dealing with imposter syndrome. How do you overcome imposter syndrome? What are the ways of knowing that you're suffering from imposter syndrome? And I was saying that a lot of us, if not 100% of us, suffer from imposter syndrome, and a lot of times we don't even realize that we are, because we're negatively doubting ourselves, and a lot of times we do that on a regular basis. And because we do that, we don't recognize that, oh gosh, I can do this. That positive, that being able to say to yourself, I can do this, is not a word that we're very good at saying to ourselves. And a lot of times we let the negativity come in. And not only do we doubt ourselves, we also feel that we're fraud. People are going to figure us out. What if they know that I'm not good at this? And because of that, it stops us from taking that next step, moving forward in our lives, taking that extra step to make that thing happen for yourself. And a lot of times it happens in different ways. In my case, actually, I started a business, and a couple of years ago, I was researching into this business, and it was in the area of fashion. And there was that voice saying to me, who are you to go into fashion? You work in law. What do you know about fashion? But actually, to be very honest, I enjoy fashion. I love to see coutures. I love to see people dressed up really nicely. I love to wear good clothes, and I love to look after myself. So perhaps I don't have a degree in fashion, and I'm not intending to have a degree in fashion, but perhaps I could start a fashion business. And sometimes you don't have to do everything yourself. You can also bring people in, but that positive aspect of seeing the things that other people can contribute or what I can bring to the table, I couldn't just focus on that positive side. I only focused on the part that was saying, what do you know? How can you work in this area? What are you going to tell the people? What if people know that you don't know this thing that you're selling? And these are things that we suffer from. But how do we deal with these voices? And actually, statistics show that 7 out of 10 adults suffer from imposter syndrome. 7 out of 10. That's a huge number. That's a massive number to imagine that 7 out of 10 adults suffer from imposter syndrome, and which possibly out of that 7 out of 10, there could be a very high number of them that do not proceed with whatever decision they were going to make to propel themselves forward just because of imposter syndrome. In the 70s, a survey around high achieving women was done, and it saw that women who were high achieving, who had high profile careers, could not attribute their success to themselves. They could not say, I did this, I achieved this, I was able to make this happen. They could not see themselves as those that have achieved it, and they always attributed it to someone else. And so these statistics show that high achieving women could not attribute their success to themselves. So they always say, oh, that person achieved this rather than them. And that goes to show that those who are most hardworking are unable to attribute those successes to themselves. And so today we're going to look at ways that we can recognize this and how we can manage it and navigate it. One of the ways I want to put to you that we can use to overcome imposter syndrome is identifying these thought patterns and putting them into perspective. So what I mean by that is identify the thought patterns. So when the thought comes to your mind and says, oh, you can't do it, who are you to think you can? People are going to find out that you're not this good. People are going to know your failures. People are going to know how unable you are in doing this. Recognize it. Do not drive it away because it will keep feeding. But if you recognize it and you say, okay, okay, why am I not good enough? Why is my thought telling me that I'm not good enough? Is it because I don't have the skills to do it? Is it because I need to learn more? Because those could be good reasons as well. It could be that you don't have the skills. So in that case, what can I do to get the skills that I need? Or it could be that your thought is telling you that you can't do it just to frighten you. So in that sense, you say, no, I have the skills. I have the capability. I'm able to achieve this. And then once you've identified it and you've understood and put it into perspective, then you can say, no, I'm going to proceed with this. This is what I'm going to do. Then you speak positiveness into that. And then you start to proclaim that. And then you start to do. So it's not only just saying. Saying is really great because it gets you into action, but you also have to do. And in doing, then we become better. The second thing I want to share with you is to talk to a friend or talk to a therapist, talk to someone who is a professional who can assist you. And the reason I say talk to a trusted friend is that sometimes people know you better than you know yourself. I mean, you know yourself as well, but sometimes your friends know you better, your family knows you more, and they're able to see the things that you don't see, and they can reassure you. And sometimes also the people you're sharing, either family or friends, they probably know in that situation you're looking at the negative, but they know more of the positive, so they can speak that into you and they can say to you, but you did this, but you did that, but you achieved this, but you achieved that, so therefore you can do it. And also you might be talking to someone who also has the skills in that area, and most times it's good to talk to someone if you're thinking about going into an area that perhaps you don't have all the know-how. It might be helpful to look at what another person has done who is in that remit, and it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who is directly close to you. It could be a mentor, it could be someone you admire, someone you look up to, and you see how they've navigated it. Maybe they've written a book, maybe they've talked about their life somewhere. Listen to that video, listen to that audio, listen to that talk. Maybe that can give you more encouragement and more confidence to go into that thing that you're thinking about doing. And it could also be relationship. Talk to trusted friends and family and see what they're saying to you. It might be a much deeper fear or concern, and then in that case it might be good for you to look at exploring talking to a professional, either a therapist or a counselor, and see how they can support you in that process. The third point that I want to talk about in terms of dealing with imposter syndrome and overcoming, how to overcome imposter syndrome, is that we should step away from comparison. So comparing yourself to others, that is one big block, imposter syndrome, and sometimes that's why it takes such a strong hold over us when we compare ourselves to others. And it's a very big topic. We live in an age of social media. It's so important. People have very beautiful feeds. You go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you see how wonderful these people portray their lives to be, myself included. Everyone does that, show people that, oh, this is our best life, but sometimes it's never the whole picture, because no one follows you Monday to Sunday, 7 days a week and 24 hours a day to see what's going on in your personal life. Only your close family and friends might know. The whole world would not know that. So what they see is what you choose to share, and a lot of times what we choose to share is not the whole truth, it's not the whole picture. Even if we decide to share everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's still never going to be the whole picture, because it is a snippet and it is also a timeline of something rather than the whole picture. So it's never 100% accurate description of a situation. So in comparing yourself to someone else, it really does limit you, because when you compare yourself, what you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're looking at that person and say, oh, look how perfect their life is, oh, mine is not, so therefore that has disqualified me. So the imposter syndrome takes root and disqualifies you only because of that comparison. So if we step away from that and say, this is my life and this is my journey and this is the pace in which I'm comfortable to go, I will carry on walking. And so long as you're walking one step a day, you are fine. So the saying goes that a journey of 1,000 miles took a step. So you have to take a step to get there. But if you keep comparing, we're never going to take that step. The last but not the least it. The fourth point I want to share with you today is do not fail to take stock of your accomplishments. Guys and girls, you're doing really well. You are smashing it. My videos and my channel and everything about this personal brand is on helping millennials who have very stressful professional work, and at the same time they also have businesses on the side. So you've already smashed it. You have a career in a capital city in the world. That's already so many layers above. You've achieved more than a lot could ever think about achieving. So even if you stop there, you've done more than enough. Just the fact that you exist is more than enough already. But what I'm trying to say is that you're pushing and you're stepping up and you're becoming better, making yourself better as well. So the fact that you've already attained that level means that you didn't achieve that by being lazy or sleeping or whatever. Not that sometimes you need to rest. Rest is very important, but you understand the context in which I'm saying it today. Take stock of all the things you've achieved. And I'm not in your life. I'm sure you've achieved so much more than these things I've pointed out. You can look at, maybe you've bought a car, maybe you've helped a loved one, maybe you've helped people who needed help, maybe you have bought a house, to even look at it from a much bigger perspective. Maybe you bought a flat, you own a property, maybe you own 2 properties, or maybe you've gone on a very wonderful holiday that you've been planning for a lifetime. These are all wonderful things that you've achieved. So take stock of those things and pat yourself in the back and say, well done, well done, well done, I'm doing great. And have times when you go and celebrate with friends and family. It's important. So on that very good note today, guys, I will leave you with the very last saying, is that look after yourself and take good care of yourself and pat yourself in the back on the things you've achieved so far, because they're incredible. You are incredible. So enjoy that. Until next time, take very good care of yourself. Bye, guys.